All righty, we are live here at the Live Wells lunch break here at FNGO. So glad you guys are going to join us today. Going to have a little bit of fun today on this episode. I see you out there already in the comment section, Casey Weaver. Lunch breakers. What's up, lunch breakers? I kind of like that. I kind of like that right there. Started off with a good nickname for you guys. We'll have to come up with a nickname for all the guys that follow us. But hey, appreciate you guys tuning in. And I know more guys will be coming on as they probably get through the commercials or whatever it is on YouTube. But very, very, very glad you guys are joining us today. Going to try something a little bit different today. I'm going to try to start talking to the viewers and start bringing some of the viewers on these lunch breaks every Tuesday and Thursday. Just something a little bit different because we meet so many fantastic people. And we know a lot of you guys by your screen names. Some of you put your regular names. Some of you guys, kind of hide it a little bit with some nicknames or a screen name or anything like that. But I see you, Tyler. Excited to come watch a meal and y'all talk in the shop tonight. You going to come up here and hang with us? And Doug Rice, Kevin McShann, Fred Ashcraft, Doc Holliday, Silverpunk, all you guys. Glad you guys are here. Gone fishing with Ed and Tony. What's up, guys? Hey, listen, tomorrow we get off our TikTok ban. So I'll have the TikTok crowd back in here tomorrow. And we'll see how long we can go before they shut us down again. But what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to start doing this every Tuesday and Thursday. And I'll be reaching out to a lot of you guys just because, say take Doug Rice, for example, up there. I've seen him in the comments. Now, we got to meet him out at the GOM Blast, and it was very cool to put a face with a name. And Tyler says, I'm going to bring my fishing partner and girlfriend if that's cool with y'all. Tyler, come on, buddy. Absolutely, it's cool with me. But it's really cool to finally put a face with a name. And so I was sitting there thinking yesterday, wouldn't it be pretty cool if maybe a couple times a week I pick a guy out of the comments and say, hey, you want to be a guest on? Now, today is supposed to be Colton Posey Fishing. You've seen him in the comments section. He watches the live well as well. He has not joined us via the link yet, which is okay because we got plenty to talk about. And, he may stay 5 minutes. He may stay an hour and a half. I don't know. But honestly, this is how it's going to work. I've never met Colton, never had a conversation with him. So when he comes on, it actually would be the first time I've ever met him. And you guys are going to kind of get to experience that as well. And so we'll just go from there. It is kind of a cool idea, Casey. It's just something like, guys, listen, there's so many of you guys out there. And if I think back over the past 5 years, since we started doing the Fish North Georgia podcast, at how many people I get to meet or have met. And there's so many, I can't even remember them all. But we have made some really good lifelong friends, met some really cool people. And lots of times guys end up coming on the podcast and working. John Aldridge's going to be up there now, but take John, for example, and even Tony. They were just guys that watched us. And now Tony comes up here and runs the boards, does some stuff for our channel. John's been on the show, comes up here all the time and hangs with me. And we make these connections that to me is just absolutely fantastic. And getting to know people. And like Silverpunk says, I watch Colton's videos. He's a hammer. I didn't even know he was from Alabama till I reached out to him yesterday. I just picked the name out. But this is something we're going to start doing. Now, it might take us a time or two to get the everything correct and how we want to run it. And hopefully he'll join. He said he was going to be. He is in Alabama. And since I'm not on TikTok, I can tease Alabama a little bit. But we'll see how it goes. Now, let's go ahead and do this so I can get ahead, knock these things out. And then we're just going to talk until he shows up. This day in history. What's up, Nathan? This day in history, pretty important for a lot of guys. Martin Luther King in 1963, on this day, delivered his I Have a Dream speech before an estimated 250,000 people in front of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. There was a lot of other things happened today in history, but I actually said, you know what? That's the only one I'm going to put. That's all I'm going to put. And it does feel like family, Doug Rice, and the real backwaters. Go Dogs. Yeah, it's college football in essence starts tonight. We picked one of the games yesterday. He may be late due to the time difference. I told him. We talked about that. He knew that he had to get on at 10:55 his time, and so he is running a little bit late, but it's okay. You guys know how we do this. We fly by the seat of our pants every single day. Want to go ahead while I got a chance, remind everybody, not this Saturday, but next Saturday's the Ryan Sheffield tournament at Little Hall. It's a 50-50 payback, $100 entry fee. You're going to blast off in the order in which you sign up. You can sign up the morning of 4:30 at the ramp. There will be a raffle for some really cool prizes and some guide trips. You actually can buy the tickets through me here now. If you want, we'll figure it all out. You can go ahead and register if you want to and get on the list through me right now. But want to help out our buddy Ryan. You guys from the past know he used to work here. He's well known in the fishing community here, and we just want to help out him and his family. Also, too, go ahead. I'm going to keep saying it every episode I get till we do it. Toys for Tots tournament, December 6th. Start putting that on your calendar because that's really one that's important. And plus, it's going to be a $5,000 first place prize, guys. $5,000 guaranteed by the sponsor. So it's going to be a really cool tournament. We will start registering for that, I think, as soon as we get done with the Ryan tournament. Yes. I did, Clint, I did get your payment, and you are on the list. And I think you're boat 10 or 11, right in there, one of those two. And good. Let's go ahead. Clint's going to be up here tonight for the show where we have the one and only Emil Wagner is going to be in the house. One of my favorite guests, honestly, since we've been doing this. And here's the cool thing about Emil. We knew he was going places from the moment he was on here the first time. And we always teased him. Hey, when you hit the big time, don't forget the little guy. Don't forget the little guy. And remember, we put you on first and all that. And he always said he would. And guys, to be honest, he's always been true to his word. And I often kind of wait with the pros till their season's over with because I think they get hounded way too much during the season. And so I reached out to Emil yesterday. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And so, shout out to Emil Wagner, not only for fulfilling his dream, but not forgetting the little guys here and coming back. Got a lunch date. See you tonight. All right, Clint. I know what you're doing there, buddy. But anyway, so it's going to be really cool. Now, a lot of guys have been talking to me about the episode from the other night, with the tank. And, a lot of guys said that was really cool. So what we're thinking about doing too, I'm going to try either get a new tank or I'm going to try to clean up this one. I'm going to try to clean it up. But we're going to start doing some shorts on our social media, showing you the different baits and kind of, pick a bait, maybe a bait or two a week and giving you some videos and showing you guys how they act. We are going to get a current, I think, to put some current in this thing so that you can see what a chatterbait looks like with different trailers. We're going to be doing a lot of that, but we had really good feedback from that. And so I appreciate you guys that are willing. And any of you guys are always welcome to do that. I want you to understand if there's something you want us to do, want us to cover, if there's something I do you don't like, again, we can't talk family and not allow you guys to say, hey, y'all can't, I'm unapproachable. I want you to reach out to me and say, hey, listen, I really like this idea. I think maybe you guys should do this. Or, Danny, that might have been a little rough. I have no problem getting constructive criticism. You guys are always welcome because you're part of the family here. Absolutely part of the family. Tyler Shelnut, I took a year hiatus from bass fishing and had been following Emil before my break. I came back to bass fishing and saw he was in the pros. Cool stuff. Yeah, it is. And what's really cool, and again, we got Paul Marks Jr. Now, we tried to get Paul on with Emil. The thing about Paul Marks Jr. is I don't know if the kid's ever at home. And so kind of catching him when he's actually available, he is one of the toughest jokers in the world. He's been on the show before, but he's going to be out of town, so he couldn't come on. We're going to catch him up or catch up with him and get him on. But I really do. What's cool, and this is why I like making friends with all these young guys, and we have a lot of young guests here at Fish North Georgia because I want to see them as they progress. You could also use stain water to show what colors look like. That's a good idea. Maybe we just dump some mud in there or something and figure out. But it is a good idea, and I encourage you guys to throw those ideas at us, okay? Because we'll listen. I'm in a very, very, very good mood today because, guys, I'm not going to drop what's going to happen because it is kind of set in stone, but it's not happened yet. But you guys, over the next month and a half, 2 months, are going to see some really cool stuff happening with the FNGO family. Can't drop it yet, but a lot of stuff is coming down the pipe. It's really going to help you guys do a lot of things, but we're going to broaden your entertainment horizons. Let's say it that. You'll always have me, in my ugly mug here talking to you guys. And you're right. It is a family, Casey Weaver. It is a family. But we're going to offer you a lot of other things that is coming. And I'm really excited. Had a great conversation with Josh this morning. We're throwing out ideas, and some of them are sticking. And we got some stuff really cool coming. So you guys keep hanging in there with us as you always do, and you will see it. And I think you're going to like it a lot. The fish tank was a cool episode. Yeah, listen, the funny thing, because you guys know we've already talked about it. I couldn't clean it the way I wanted to clean it. And Josh said he popped it up in the middle. What's up, Alex? Josh said he popped it up in the middle, and he saw that stuff on the back, which he did go back and see that I explained it to him. But y'all have to understand my partner here. He is a very visual dude. I'm the mouth, and he's the eyeballs. And he saw that, and I bet his heart just was in his stomach till he went back and saw it, because I scrubbed the daylights out of that thing. We might just buy a new one. I'm going to drain. I got to drain it before a meal gets here. We'll see if we can clean it up. But we're going to do a lot more of that stuff, because I think sometimes visually seeing a bait and like I said the other day, not on somebody's pre-made commercial that is made for them. And of course they're biased. They're going to show it, but being willing to say, you know what, this thing doesn't look as good as I thought it would. What's up, Atlanta Outdoors? This bait looks better than I thought it was. And we have, again, we're not sponsored by any of them. So we're going to give you the honest assessment. And if it hurts some people's feelings, it hurts them. We don't mean it. We're just being truthful. Just like I said yesterday, the biggest disappointment from that show was my net head. I didn't like that it laid down, but then got to looking at it today after some suggestions from some guys yesterday, and looking at the way the line tie was, if we were throwing it at a regular situation, it would have stood up. It was the tank, but still, I was disappointed in it. And so I'm honest. If I'm going to insult myself, or not insult myself, be disappointed in something, figure out what was wrong with it. But, again, other baits, because you guys, especially with the tariffs coming up, y'all going to drop some cheese on some baits. It's coming, guys. You're going to start counting your dollars. We need more constructive criticism in the fishing world. Well, that's it too. So Nathan, while we're waiting on Colton, that is one thing. And here's the thing. We need more constructive criticism, but we also have to be willing to accept it. That's the problem. There are a lot of guys out there that you can say, you know what? I didn't like how this looked. And you go to tell that person, or they put out a video that you didn't necessarily agree with. If you're the one that makes that bait or makes that content, and somebody comes up to you, and let's just be honest, if they're not being an ass, because that's different. But let's just say, Nathan, because you said absolutely. Let's say, Nathan, you came up to me and said, Danny, I really think your video would have been better had your boat been positioned this way and the camera facing that way. Okay, I have two options. I can listen to you and say, you know what? Let me take that into consideration, because we want the viewing experience to be fantastic. Or I could turn right around and just absolutely blast you like you don't know what you're talking about. And that's not the way to do it. We're having trouble streaming to Facebook. This may be an issue on Facebook. It is possible the stream was ended or deleted on Facebook. Okay, well, let me know. So, but I see Dino Bolin right there. He's here on Facebook, so maybe not. But you see what I'm saying? You got to be willing to, some people feel targeted. Some people you just can't tell anything to. They're absolutely just going to take it as like you're personally insulting their character and all that. You got to be willing to, and every one of us have to be willing, as long as it's presented in a constructive manner. Okay? You come at people cussing and fussing like that. Yeah, I mean, what do you expect? But if you really are like, be polite, but be straightforward. I would much rather you guys do that. I will say this. I get some emails from time to time. Giving me constructive criticism on maybe something that I have said here, way we covered something. I always respond to them, and it's okay. Now, I may or may not take what they said to heart. I may say, after I'm done, man, that's a terrible idea. But I will at least listen, and that's what you got to do. Jeremiah just spent $138 on Tackle Warehouse today. Fishing around riprap gets expensive. Absolutely, it does, 100%. And some people do feel targeted. Think about social media today. Guys, listen, I've been called chubby, fat. I got called old, and it's okay because you know what? I am a little on the heavy side. I am getting a little older in the tooth. You got to be able to accept it. It's okay. It's all good. People these days are all up in their feelings. Yeah, I've had to get better at some people are here to help 2 ears, 1 mouth. And you're right, Danny. I think I read that right. Hell, I don't know. Let me try it again. Something I've had to get better at. Some people, you guys got to put some periods in your comments sometimes. Some people are here to help. 2 ears, 1 mouth, and you're right. Absolutely. And those people are normally more negative about everything in general. There are people, and I've got friends, and I know some people that you're right. Absolutely. You can't tell them nothing. And sometimes it's often the negative people that are the loudest, right? They're the loudest because, to be honest, that's how they get their sense of self-worth. It's okay, Nathan. It's okay. Listen, you guys have been around me long enough to know that I try to read these things, and sometimes it doesn't make any sense once I've read it. And if you guys would just throw a period in there every once in a while, it would help me tremendously. But it's all good, bro. All good. But again, social media is the worst. Now, let me tell you something. If you really want a cesspool, okay, if you really want the worst of the worst, it is X, formerly known as Twitter. Boy, you talking about having some of the grammar class today. No, no grammar for me, even though my daughter does have an English degree. And when she's home from Virginia, and even while she was in college, guys, it stunk because she would look at me like, Dad, you know better than that to say it that way. And she has no problem correcting me or rolling her eyes at me because my English is, boys, it's Southern English, okay? But Twitter is a wild place. We'll call it Twitter because I still think X is weird. But you talking about people willing to absolutely insult your mother, pee on your granny's grave, call you every name in the book, and just absolutely show the core rottenness of an individual. X is the place, or Twitter, whatever. But it's always behind a screen name. People are really, really brave behind a screen name. But it's okay. You take them with a grain of salt. Threads is worse. I don't do threads. I need to do threads. I need to be doing everything. But the algorithm for threads feeds hate. That's a shame. That's a shame. All right, we're still waiting on Colton. I hope he didn't chicken out on me. And it's okay. Or something could have, again, life happens, guys. So he could have been doing something. And maybe he'll jump on as soon as he can. But we'll go ahead and start talking about this weekend and some fishing while we're here. I quit using talk text. I end up going back and rewriting it. I'm telling you what, listen, iPhones do not pick up redneck worth it. You know what? Terrible. And you're right. And especially, let's say I got a little product in my mouth or something when I'm going down the road and you're not supposed to be texting, but I'll hit that button and try to do it, blah, 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 blah. It comes back like I could say, I like mayonnaise, and it's going to come back just, digging a ditch or something. It's just something stupid that is absolutely nowhere near what I said. That's why I like TikTok. It makes me laugh more. Now, TikTok is kind of funny. There are some funny people in this world, and you got to be willing to laugh at yourself too, and that makes it even funnier. So while we're waiting on Colton, what are you guys planning on doing this Labor Day weekend? Okay, got a big weekend coming up. A lot of you guys are going to get 3 days. I kind of wished I'd take tomorrow off. I'd like to go down to my hunting club in Wilkes County and do some work, maybe get on the water somewhere. Finally going fishing for the first time in a month. Our old house has had me tied up in projects. Now, there are some things. My wife is actually leaving today at lunch, and she's going to Virginia to hang with our oldest through the Labor Day weekend. And so solo parenting, no fishing. Hey, man, go get you a tube of crickets. Or how old? It might be too young. So here's what's going to happen. She's going to say, hey, just don't get in any trouble. Be safe. You be safe, babe. Have a great trip. What she's saying is, in her eyes, I want the grass cut. Make sure there's no dirty dishes. Make sure the trash is taken out. If you want to, you can get the spider webs off the gutters because, good Lord, them Joro spiders are everywhere. I'm telling you what, guys, I got more Joro spiders in my yard than a man ought to be allowed to have. Now, it's about the time of year where everybody's going to see on the news the flying spiders are coming in, this invasive spider species, and of course all your beta men and a lot of your women are going to get in their feelings, and they're going to be scared because the Joros are here. Let me tell you something. Joro spiders. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the old garden spider, just like Charlotte's Web. Okay? I love them. Them Joros, if you got wasps or anything, any kind of flying critter around that's a pest, them Joro spiders will absolutely wipe their ass out. I'm telling you. I know yesterday, and again, I should be doing more yard work, okay? I blame it on the rain. I haven't been doing anything because it's been too rainy. But I bet you I can walk my property right now, and I live on 1.5 acres. I bet you I got 47 of these things up in the trees. I got that old Chevrolet truck I had. It needs a new transmission, so it's parked in the driveway. Well, hell, there's 3 of them from the antenna of that up to the pine tree right there. Hey, Danny, I'm late. Missed the show yesterday. Had to visit a friend in a funeral home. Well, Roger, sorry about that. Sorry to hear about your friend, buddy. Absolutely glad you're here today. But them damn Joros are everywhere, and they are thick. And if you're a deer hunter getting ready to go in the woods, especially if you walk in, you can bust down that web, and them son of a guns will have that thing back up in 42 minutes, and they'll probably have it up thicker than what they had before. But they said them spiders are sterile. Ain't true. No doubt. No doubt. And Jeremy says, I don't get on the water on holiday weekends. It's not worth it anymore. Probably. Colton, it says, I'm in the lobby waiting. Actually, buddy, it's not showing you up on our, let me see if it's like, it's not showing you up. If you'd hit the right thing, it would pop up, and I'm not getting you. Can you try to hit that link again and see if you'll come up? Because right now, normally when somebody jumps on, their picture shows up right here at the bottom of my screen, and I can get them on here. So we might be having a little technical difficulties. Clear that out. Try it again if you don't mind. Let's see what happens. Anyway, we'll see. Facebook Live isn't working. Okay, yeah, we had a thing that says something about Facebook is down or something right now. So I don't know. Them big salt guns make Joros disappear, like they're there and then they aren't. Here's the thing, though. I don't know that I want to get rid of them because I live in the woods, up across from Lathan, up behind my mom's house. And so I'm in the woods, and I get wasps, yellow jackets, them daggum killer hornets, they come through, all kinds of bugs. Man, when them Joros start building their nest or building their webs, they disappear. They disappear quick. And so I'm kind of like, I don't know that I want to knock the web down. Now, there is one. My mom's mailbox is right here, and my dad's. Okay, so listen, Colton. I don't know what's up. Just cleared out, went back and says, I'm waiting on you to add me to the stage. It is not on my side showing you at all. I don't know what's going on with it. I really don't. It could be because you're on YouTube. I don't know if it has anything to do with the problems on Facebook, but I apologize. But normally you show up right here. You can't see the screen that I'm looking at, but there's a box right here. And when somebody comes on, they show up in that box, and I hit add to stage, and then I can bring them on. So right now I'm not even getting that. So let's maybe wait if you got the time, let's maybe wait 5 minutes and try it again. All right. If you don't mind, we'll try that. We'll keep talking to them. Joros are from hell, but they do take out pests. They do a number on them wasps. Let's see, just cleared out. Okay. I see you again. I keep them around. They eat wasps, and the moths I try to keep out of my garden. And that's what I'm saying. Now there is one before I read Colton's comment. There is a big one between my mom's mailbox and my mailbox. Okay. And it's the web is right there between them. Now, I think it's funny. My wife doesn't like them there. I'm sick of them can't mow the grass without Joro Bukkake in my face. I get it, dude. I get it. They're everywhere. I leave spiders alone. They kill everything from mosquitoes to other spiders. Now, listen, though. My yard looks like I'm ready for Halloween. Yeah, Alex. Atlanta Outdoors really like that comment. Carson Fowler, I didn't see the Joro spiders until August, and then they're just everywhere. And that is true. Like, they are just everywhere. I was talking about that. I had that Chevrolet that I got to change the transmission on, from my antenna to the pine tree to a post. And we're talking about like a 10-foot square area. There are 5 different Joros in various sizes right there. And like, my wife is like, you need to get rid of them. I'm like, think of what these things are doing. Like, I haven't seen a wasp around my house in the last month. Okay. Now, between that and putting out the, because we live in the woods, we put out the little black fly traps, which stink like a mother after about a month. But we have annihilated, between the Joros and technology, we've annihilated most of the flying insects around my house, other than them damn mosquitoes. Okay. That right there really stinks. Nothing worse than walking into a banana spider web in the dark, walking to a deer stand. And that's true. And Joro Bukake was not on my bingo card. Mine neither. Mine neither. But the old Joro, but here's the thing. The first year they showed up, I'm not going to lie, guys, I waxed their butts with anything and everything. Got a little lazy the next year. And then this year, I ain't even messing with them. And I know they're invasive. And I miss Charlotte from Charlotte's Web. I wish I had them all over the place, the old-fashioned writing spider. But them Joros, they're not bad. But you get ready. You're about 2 to 3 weeks away from seeing a news report or something on your Facebook feed or something like that saying, okay, killer spiders are everywhere. They're coming. Pontoon Jody Catfishing, appreciate you joining us, honey. I have thrown away a leather couch because a big spider crawled under it. I'm deathly afraid of spiders. A lot of people are. You're not alone. They don't bother me as long as I can see them. Danny, can you click on Colton's name in the comments and send him an invite to the live? Well, I don't know. Let's see if we'll try it again. We'll try it this way. Let me click off of that. It's just showing a dark screen. I don't understand what's really going on with it, to be honest with you, Colton. I got to click back off of that. Let's do that. Generally, this is why I have Tim and Tony around. It doesn't allow me to do that. I don't know what's going on. We might just have to figure it out, Colton. I apologize. I'll have to see what the deal is. Because generally, like I said, I just send you the invite. I send you the code, the link. You click on the link, and it pops up. So I'm not sure what's going on. So we might, hey, listen, our first viewer thing might be a big flop. It happens. But still, keep trying, bro. I don't know what it is. Them things only first started showing up a few years ago. True. I don't remember them being around until maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, just like armadillos. About 4 or 5 years ago, I saw a dead armadillo on the road. On my road, I'm like, what? I've seen them out in Wilkes County where I deer hunt. I've seen a few of them. Little jokers start walking right around, dusky dark, and you think, here comes that deer right over the hill. And it's an armadillo. But they were not around here. 4 or 5 years ago, all of a sudden they started showing up. They're getting hit everywhere. Just getting busted everywhere. Now there's armadillos everywhere. I see less possums on the road. Not scared of many things in this world, but I hate spiders. Basically, don't want them on me. Now, listen, John Aldred. Yeah, listen. Now, John, let me explain to you John's wife. Let me explain to you his wife. She is, and I'm not saying this in her looks, but she's your typical female wife that you come around, just fantastic person. She looks like the most normal person in the world. This woman has a spider collection. She loves spiders, tarantulas, all these things. Keeps them as pets. I think John brought me up a shell of a tarantula or something like that. It was bigger than my hand. It's bigger than my hand. It was the biggest spider, but they love them. Y'all would probably freak out if you went to John Aldred's house. I have seen the armadillo on the side of the road at Watts Bar. DNR said they could cross the major highways to get from south. Could or could not, the major highways from South Georgia to North Georgia. We've got a couple armadillos in Kentucky now. Some guy brought the armadillos up here. Now, first day of rifle season on the WMA last year, I had a Joro on my crotch area of my pants, taught me patience and not to always react with violence. Smart move. Smart move. Yeah, the armadillos. Now, listen, it depends on who you ask. You get your global warming people saying they're moving north because of global warming. The Joros got here because of I think they just came across on ships and stuff. I think they're an Asian spider. I might be wrong. Armadillos, I got no use for the possum on the half shell. No use for them whatsoever. And people tell you they carry various diseases. I don't know that. I'm not a biologist. I just say what I've heard. Like I've heard they could carry leprosy. I'm not 100% sure. But I can tell you if I see one, he's getting blasted. I'd rather have the Joros than the armadillos because they also tear your yard up. They dig in everything. Walking through the deer woods at night, step in a hole, probably an armadillo. But yeah, when you get a spider between your legs, the best thing is not to punch it. Y'all ever see the Goliath bird eater? A literal tarantula so big it eats birds, about the size of a dinner plate, doesn't make a web, just rushes down and grabs stuff. Jeremiah, I think John may have one, or his wife may have one. John, if you're still here in the comments, let me know. She's just listen, the thing is, I guess that's what I'm trying to say is like, she's just the sweetest woman, one of the sweetest women I've met. Not Swedish, sweetest. Okay, got my dip in. One of the sweetest people that have ever walked through this shop. And you would not know that she loves nasty ass spiders. I think they look like Piglet of Winnie the Pooh. They do. That is true. But I think Jeremiah, John always, this show comes on right at the end of his lunch break. So he may have had to go, but he said he was going to come up here before the show tonight. I'll ask him. But I know that one he brought because they molt. They're like a snake. They molt. You don't have to go Pontoon Jody. You ain't going to have no nightmares. But they molt. And so he put the molted exoskeleton, I think is what it's called, on my hand, dude. And I ain't got the biggest hand in the world, okay? But it was as big, if not bigger than my hand. Gnarly looking. Let's get back to what we're doing this weekend. And again, sorry, Colton, that we couldn't figure it out. We'll try again if you can Tuesday. We'll figure it all out. Now, fishing this weekend. I heard a couple guys saying they're not going. Shane Ross can confirm armadillos carry leprosy. Source: his wife is a zoologist. Damn, that comes in handy. On the dark screen, it says ended at 2:05:13. You know what? I bet, let's try something, Colton, real quick. I bet you it tied that link into last night's. So can you see the screen, Colton? I'm gonna read out a link to you. You got something to write down with. Let me know when you're ready. I'm gonna read you a new link. I don't know how I can send it to you while I'm on air. But we might try that. I bet you're getting, that's why you're getting a dark screen. I bet you the link was tied to last night's show and not this one, which it shouldn't have been because I started a new stream. I'm not sure why it's doing that. But if you're ready, let me know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up you on Messenger right here. Hey, guys, we're just trying to figure this out as we go. So you guys hang with me right here. Let me pull up my pictures. And I'm going to pop this link up again and see if it's a different link. All right, photo. We're going to erase it. Let me pop up that link. And so you guys might not be able to see it. And I don't know that he can. My damn phone is nasty. So I'm going to take that, and I'm going to send that to you right here in a second. Let me clear that out. I'm going to send it back to your messenger. I'd love to get you on. Ain't it fun doing things live? This is just the way life works right here, boys. We're going to overcome and adapt. We are recents. It's saying that. Let's see if that works. Try that one. Yeah, we're on StreamYard. And listen, I normally have other guys doing it, but let's talk about fishing. And Colton, if you can't get on, we'll try to get you back on. So how many of you guys, I heard one guy say he's not getting on because it's holiday weekend. Is that you? Or are you planning on going and doing something alternative based upon that fact that the major lakes are going to be crowded and you're just not going to get on? Would you be willing to go to a river? Are you going to fish more in the evening? What are you going to do? I think if I was going to go this weekend, it's going to be crowded everywhere. We'll do some redneckery if we have to. We'll figure it out. We'll run everybody off doing it and just me and you'll be talking. That's just the way it's going to happen. But I sent that. Tell me if that's the same one. But anyway, I think I would like to try to go absolutely staying off the main lakes, going smallmouth and walleye fishing in the river. Where at, Jeremiah? Where at? And Colton, while you're doing that, you can answer too, because he's in Alabama. Is it the same on all the lakes? Lanier, this is the last big hoorah, but is the colder temperatures going to hold some people off? That's a possibility as well. That you're going to have that cold weather. Now, I say that we saw guys in jet skis in January on that. Tyler says he's braving Lanier. I missed some spots. Well, if you haven't been fishing in a while, I would understand that. Old Dirty Cracker, I'm going to my grandma's birthday party. She turned 95 yesterday. Man, I tell you what, think of the things that she has seen in her life. Think of the things that she has seen in her life over 95 years, good and bad. So bless her heart. That's awesome. I would be highly shocked if I made it to 95. If I made it 95. Also, too, like with Emil coming on tonight, we can talk about this. What are some of the things that you would like me to ask Emil? So we can even kind of go ahead and curate that show tonight. Here's what I'm planning on trying to find out from him. I want to know what life is like as a Bassmaster Elite rookie. Is there any hazing involved? And I don't mean like physically, but do the experienced pros give you a hard time? You're hoping Hickory Log will be all right. I think it should be. Worst you're going to get over there is some kayakers, pleasure kayakers. Going to explore some places with a good smallie population, probably downstream from Watts Bar or something maybe. That would be pretty cool. A late breakfast. That's right. But I'm curious to see, with Emil, how it was. Now, granted, we're going to talk the lakes and we're going to talk what he fished and his results and what he liked and all that. But I'm curious about the behind the scene things that go on with the Bassmaster Elites. Who were the established pros that helped take some of these rookies under their wing? I want to ask Emil how to get into guiding. I would love to make money from fishing, even if it ain't a lot. Emil will be able to tell you that. He definitely can. Guiding is I tell you what, guiding is one of those things that guys are like, they're like this. Same one, it's just showing me a dark screen. Colton, let's do this. Can I go ahead and reschedule you for Tuesday? Can we just try that and I'll figure out what's wrong? Would that be okay? I apologize 100%. I'll have to figure out why it's doing that. I don't know what we're doing. I'm going to hit some dock lights with this cool down we had. I got my Colorado blade though, just in case. But yeah, guiding is one of those things too. Like when you take your hobby that you love and you turn it into a job, for some guys it works and for some guys it doesn't. Absolutely doesn't. And so I really, I'm not cautioning you against it. If you want a guide, be a guide. And I've always said that, like, just take Lake Lanier. Lake Lanier is 38,000 acres. There is room for all of you guys. And if you're good at what you do, you will succeed. You'll get more clients and you'll take off. And if you're not, then you'll be back to hobby fishing. But I tell everybody this, Tyler, go for it. You only live once, go for it. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, what's the worst thing that can happen is you fail? Well, that's fine. You can try again. You can do something else. It doesn't matter. But if you don't try, how are you going to know? And then you're going to end up being my age. And I know you're not as old as I am, but then you're going to be my age and you're going to look back saying, I wish I had done that. I really wished I'd have given it a shot. So, yeah, we'll ask him tonight, if, when you're here, because you'll be here in person. Ask him. But I'm really curious. Like, I want to know if Mercer is legit as a podcaster. I want to know if Mercer is the same off camera as he is on camera. And not in a good or bad way. I just want to know, do a lot of these guys have their stage persona, or are they that way 100% of the time? People that know me can tell you that just like on here, I'm an idiot 24/7. Yeah, I do not change. Worst that can happen is I just fish for fun, not money. That's it. That's what I'm saying. But you're not going to know. Now, bad weather or not, all the ramps at all the rivers will be filled up this weekend, no doubt. Casey Weaver says, I'm going to fish somewhere, not sure yet. Now listen, yeah, I caught a few good ones at Cedar Creek yesterday and again today. 6-cent swim jig with a Zoom Z-Crawl Junior trailer. Listen, Casey, You ain't got to show me up on social media with the big fish that you're catching over there on a lake that I am terrible at. I saw what you was doing. I saw what you was doing, and it's okay. I'm glad somebody can catch fish. Colton, I will give you. I tell you what. I don't know that I got your phone number. Send me your phone number on Messenger, and I'll call you as soon as the show's over with, and we'll figure out what's going on. But I do think you're right, Fred Ashcraft. There's going to be a lot of people. Again, this is the official kind of end of summer, even though technically, for a lot of people, this is the end of summer. And this weekend, we got Jeep Fest up here in Pickens County that the sheriff's putting on. So good Lord, every person that owns a Jeep and 42 ducks are going to be driving up and down Highway 53. They're going to be on every back road here, coming through every little Jeep trail. Like I said, giving everybody the Jeep wave. You got to do the Jeep wave. And but we're going to have that up here in Pickens County. There's going to be a lot of things not fishing related that's going to be going on, a lot of festivals and things like that. But everybody's going to be outside. And I think the weather's supposed to be okay. I haven't necessarily checked it. We know it's not going to be 90 degrees. So that might actually be a bad thing because more people will be like, I kind of thought maybe the cool weather might hold them off, but that actually might be not necessarily a good thing for us if we want the lake to ourselves, because they're going to be like, hey, I'm not going to burn up. I'm not going to burn up. They'll be out there. But a lot of people are going to be out. Like I said, my wife is traveling. She's going to Virginia to visit my daughter. I'm bachelor, boys. It's just me and the dogs. And then one of my daughters will be around. But she works at night. So it's tough out there. I've been working to figure it out. He's talking about Cedar Creek in Hall County. Hate that lake. The only good thing about a crazy work schedule, you're not tempted or able to fish when everyone with a boat, is on the water. Absolutely. Absolutely. It will be interesting to see. Now, if you're not fishing, I've seen a couple guys in the comment section put they're staying off the lake. A lot of guys, what are you going to do instead? How are you going to do Labor Day weekend? Does it even mean anything? Now, I'm not saying don't mean anything to you, but is it even a weekend that you're going to take serious? Like, I'll tell you, there's one, and I'll show you, this is just me. New Year's Eve, I don't go out. That's the one holiday that I actually tell my wife I'm staying home. I'll watch the ball drop. Generally, I'm in the bed by 10 o'clock and asleep. I don't give two shits about going out there with a bunch of people out there in the cold, standing in front of a bunch of buildings, being elbows and ass tucked in with 10,000 people watching a peach drop or whatever. No desire to do that. Or sing them that song that happens after midnight. I don't care about watching Ryan Seacrest rocking New Year's Eve. It bores me a little bit. Plus, it's not my kind of music. What's up, Far Dog? Atlanta Outdoors is smoking brisket and ribs. Yeah, I might do that. Danny, my wife is going out of town too. Just me and the dog. Same here, Danny. Said like that. New Year's Eve is the one night. Now, don't call me scared or nothing. I have no interest in being out there and this with a ton of drunks. Now, don't get me wrong. I like to partake, but I don't like to partake with 10,000 of my favorite friends watching that. What is that they do down in South? There's some town that a possum drop. A possum drop. Like, again, who wants to watch a possum drop? And really, here's another question. Just popped in my mind. All the people overseas have it's New Year's there first. But like, what is the official one? Is it New York City? Is that the one we really judge everything, the Eastern time zone that we're in? Is that really what everybody goes by? I'm just curious. Again, here's my question. Who's cooking? I haven't had barbecue all year. Jeremiah, you probably drive by 52 places with all the fishing that you do that sell it. I think a Boston butt would be pretty good. I think that would be pretty good. But brisket, I've never tried a brisket because brisket, number one, takes so long to do. And number two, they're fairly expensive, and I will probably mess it up the first few times I try it. Now, a Boston butt is forgiving. Smoking a butt is forgiving. Brisket, you got to be on. Better late than never. Been watching Major League Fishing team tournament. I might put that on afterwards as well. Who's doing well? I think you sent me the old code. It says at the top, guest Andrew Blair. That is weird, Colton, because I pulled it up right here on this episode. So I think I got something messed up with the StreamYard. I'll figure it out. I apologize. Ribs are a go-to for me, Tyler Shelnut says. Yeah, for sure. Ribs are not that bad. Ribs are not hard to do. But the Boston butt, by far, it's the most forgiving. And I like it. But brisket would be something I would love to do. Because if you cook a brisket right, that is slap your mama good stuff. Brisket's amazing. But I don't know. You guys are making me hungry. My mouth is watering right now. So anyway, smoking a whole chicken is forgiving too. Takes less time, and you can pull for sliders and sandwiches as well. I haven't smoked a whole chicken. I might try that. Now, lots of times if I want to do that, I know my wife does some crock pot or pressure, whatever that Instapot thing with chicken that takes like 10 minutes to do it, and your chicken, you can spread it. But Sox Live Barbecue has good brisket. I got a buddy, Joe King, that he's got a big green egg. I don't have a big green egg, but he's got a big green egg. And that dude just absolutely freaking nails the brisket every time he cooks it. Every time he cooks it. It is just, watering. It's crazy. That's not the same. Nobody wants that bland mac and cheese people are selling with the mild rib tips they're selling. Most barbecue made by someone at home who cares about it is way better. And Jeremiah, you might be right. You might be right. And a lot of people will judge their barbecue based upon, a restaurant and say, okay, this is the standard. Mine's better. You can come on. Don't worry about the noise. Hell, I done screwed this damn episode up anyway without being able to get him on there. I'm from Texas. I'm a barbecue snob, Alex says. Well, listen. Now, okay, how about this? Let me ask you this. Since we're talking about barbecue, you know how this show goes. We never know what the hell we're going to talk about. When you do a butt, okay, do you chop or do you pull? I'm a pull guy. The reason I don't like to chop is because I will do this. If all the fat hasn't rendered down, I will make sure when I pull it, I get it out. My wife doesn't like the fat and all that. So I make sure when I pull, I take those little chunks of fat that she don't like out of it. But a lot of guys like to chop it. When they chop it, hell, they just chop everything. Fat and all in there. And then sometimes you'll get that sandwich or something, you put it on there, and you go to bite in it, and you got a big wad of fat. I'm not a fan of that. Let's see. I used to have a green egg. Now I have a Pit Boss. I miss the egg. Any of y'all have a big, easy, oilless fryer? Cook a whole chicken with Cajun liquid injection. It is money. No, Fred, I have not done that. Far Dog, I've been talking to Stephanie Hemphill Pellerin, the lady NPFL and guide, to come on the show. I talked to her about it. I can get her on the show. I talked to her at ICAST and on Facebook every once in a while. Sweet lady. But yeah, she would be interesting. I got an idea. When y'all get through hunting, y'all can do a deer chili contest or something like that. Jeremiah, you just want free food, dude. You just want free food. Doug, I'll see you later, buddy. Far Dog. All right, here we go. Now we're getting ready to get into something that we're getting ready to have some differences of agreement on. I hate mustard-based barbecue sauce. When I worked in South Carolina, it freaked me out. Okay, so what kind of barbecue sauce do you guys like? My personal favorite is the mustard-based sauce. Now, I like them all. I love a mustard-based barbecue sauce. We have to do our turkeys with the oilless fryer. Comes out great. Brother-in-law is allergic to everything. Oh, that's got to stink. That's got to stink. But I like, it goes mustard. Then I like a real vinegary sauce. And then you can get into them thick molasses, all them kind of sauces. Like them all. Like them all. But a good mustard-based barbecue sauce is gold, dude. That's just my opinion. I've tried a ton of them. I also like, if I'm going to take the mustard out of it, if I'm going to eat regular, I like some with a little bit of kick to it as well. I like spicy one. Head Country made in Oklahoma. It's not sweet, but more of a vinegar. And I like them. Jeremiah says brown sugar barbecue sauce for me. That's, then you get into that thicker kind of stuff. And it's okay. But like, I'll tell you this, like ribs, I would rather have dry rub ribs. I would rather my ribs be dry rubbed and with a good bark on it than slathered in barbecue sauce. That's just me personally. I'll eat both of them, but that's what I like. Alex says I like spicy. Now, Carson, I'm going to question you a little bit. I'm going to question you a little bit on this. Not your manhood. Nothing like that. But in the comment section, Carson Fowler says there's a chipotle blueberry barbecue sauce I've been eating lately. So damn good, but it's thick. I have never heard of a chipotle blueberry barbecue sauce. Okay, that sounds woke. That sounds woke. I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. True, some people cover the actual taste with the sauce. You can. And that's it. Is Fred Ashcraft the only one that thinks for holidays just cook some porterhouse steaks or low country boil? Not all the same old turkey and ham and 30 sides. Just go simpler. It sounds woke. It does, Carson. Fred, I agree with you. Thanksgiving, let's be honest. Most of the turkey you're going to eat at Thanksgiving is some dry ass meat. I mean, it's dry. Unless they deep fry. Deep fry is a little different. Bottom feeders. Laugh my ass. It's Blues Hog. Give it a shot one time. Sorry, it's raspberry chipotle. Okay, raspberry chipotle. I might try that. Thanksgiving turkey, give me the ham. Give me the ham. But I'm a sides guy anyway. I'm a casserole aficionado. It is always overkill on the food, but I was raised Baptist here in the South. I mean, every time you do a luncheon or something like that, or you go to a family thing, it's side heavy. It's side heavy. We go to Thanksgiving, I might get a piece of ham, maybe a little bit of turkey with the giblet gravy on top of it. But, man, I am down in the squash and onion casserole, the broccoli and cheese casserole with the daggum, Cheez-It crackers across the top of it. Things like that. Love that stuff. Now, also, too, though, listen, dressing. I don't know why we're talking about Thanksgiving here in August, but dressing is hit or miss with people. Some women can cook it. Some women can't. I say women because they do the cooking at our big family gatherings because they don't let us guys do anything. If you're a guy and you cook dressing, I'm not meaning to count you out. But they don't know how to cook dressing. And dressing and turkey are two things I can kind of live without. Now, one thing you guys need to try, I don't know if you tried oyster dressing. It's got oysters in it. Fantastic. Since we don't have family here to spend the holidays with, we always do something different for the holidays. Last year we did tacos. Good for you. I like that. I like a mix of both sauces. If I do a butt sauces with some of the meat. Okay, let me read this again. I like a mix of both sauces. If I do a butt sauce, some of the meat with different sauces so it doesn't get old eating it all week. So basically what you was trying to say at Land Outdoors is you use different sauces and mix it around so you don't have to eat the same thing. Same thing. I don't like sweet barbecue sauce at all, and the mustard-based sauce was a culture shock to my taste buds. But COVID took my taste 5 years ago and my smell. See, we're in the same boat. I still got my taste. Most Thanksgiving turkeys are dry as a Popeye's biscuit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Can't cook it. I mean, listen, you gotta drink a ton of sweet tea or Coke or whatever down Thanksgiving turkey. Now, here's a good one. Bottom Line Outdoors. Let me read Fred Ashcraft's thing. Blue crab meat stuffing is legit too. Yeah, I like that. I like the way that sounds. How about this? Dressing versus stuffing. This is why I love this show. I did not have this on my bingo card today. Dressing versus stuffing. I am going to tell you right now, for me, I like stuffing. There have been times in my life, and I hate to admit this, that my wife has gone to bed and I've been up in the middle of the night, can't sleep for whatever, and I'll look in the pantry and I will see a box of stovetop stuffing. And guys, I will fix that box of stovetop stuffing and just eat it as a midnight snack. I'm sorry to admit that on air, but I have done it. It's probably why it's really not the beer. It's probably the way I eat food like that. I love stuffing. Don't get me wrong. I like dressing too. Tyler Shelnut says dressing. Old Dirty Cracker. I'm Southern. It's dressing all day. Good dressing, I agree with. But I like stuffing. And it's pretty sad in your life when stovetop stuffing can become a midnight snack. But Thanksgiving kind of stinks with all the food anyway. Now, I know we're talking about barbecue, but if we really want to admit it, who the hell likes leftover turkey sandwiches for a week after Thanksgiving? I don't. My wife knows I don't. She knows I'm not going to eat it. I'll eat it that day. If I wanted to eat cardboard, I'd eat cardboard. Dressing with some of the turkey bits in it cause stuffing comes out still wet. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, some of the turkey bits are right. Yeah, my iPhone chops off what I type on the live chat. I can't ever proof what I type on my phone. My bad. It's okay. It's okay, because if I was typing the same thing with my fat fingers, it'd come out that way. I'm just messing with you, Atlanta Outdoors. But when it comes to barbecue, give me the mustard. I tell you guys, I tell you what I'm still trying to get used to. And if I don't know if Colton's still on here, because he is from Alabama. Roger, I love leftovers. You would. Alabama white sauce. It's technically considered barbecue in a lot of places. I don't think it's barbecue, but technically, if you're looking up recipes, you're going to see Alabama white sauce. Okay? Leave it to Alabama to come up with something a totally different color with a totally different taste to put on chicken. But to me, I'll eat it. It's not my favorite, but Alabama white sauce. How many of you guys eat that? Now, Jeremiah, in your comment right here, this is a good one. Jalapeno cornbread. Now, dude, I like jalapenos and everything. So jalapeno cornbread, Mexican cornbread, those kind of things are really good. John Boy and Billy barbecue sauce is gold. Man, I remember listening to them on the radio back in the day. Now, Colton, since you are in Alabama, do you eat the white sauce? The chicken comes out, it kind of looks like our fish tank here. And if you know, you know. Bottom Line Outdoors, we do brisket to replace turkey. I love a mustard-based barbecue sauce. Man, yeah, my mouth is like water, and I'm having to spit every 5 seconds. And Atlanta Outdoors says I eat it all. Well, I do eat it all. I do eat it all, with the exception of, since we're talking Thanksgiving, I'm not a big fan of cranberry sauce. And I'm not a big fan of sweet potato pie or sweet potato souffle. Not a fan of it. I eat everything, and I will eat it if that's all that's there. But if I got a big spread in front of me, I'm not picking out the cranberry sauce, especially that crap that comes out of the can. Looks like dog food kind of when you lay it out there. It's still got the shape of the can on it. That is not appetizing looking. It's not appetizing at all. I used to stuff turkey. I use stuffing with turkey to make a casserole with the leftovers. Just cream of mushrooms, I guess soup, stuffing, and leftovers. Bake for 30 minutes at 375. Tastes like a pot pie. Roger Gibson wants to know, what's white sauce? Roger, go on YouTube and just type in Alabama white sauce. Colton says, I'm picky with white sauce, but a relative of mine makes some homemade and I like it. Basically, it's, hell, I don't even know what's in it, but it's white. You take your chicken and you're supposed to dunk it in it, and then I guess you can keep cooking it a little bit. Cook it long enough, it's not really white anymore, but mayonnaise based. It's mayonnaise based, Old Dirty Cracker said. Oh, I love that name. But it is like dripping, But look it up. I mean, I've tried to make it at home. Did not come out well. Did not like it. But back to that cranberry sauce. Like, that is the most, you get the people at Thanksgiving that put 8 to 10 hours in what they're cooking. And you got that one relative, and the only responsibility, and they get that because they can't cook anything else, is bring the cranberry sauce. And all they do is cut that thing out and they just pour it out on the little thing. And so you still see the lines from the can in the cranberry sauce. That is absolutely just disgusting to me. My lunch today, 3 packets of Star-Kissed tuna and spring water mixed with some sauerkraut. What you eating, Danny? Carnivore roar. Well, I haven't eaten anything today. I kind of fast during the day. Colton says, don't ask me what's in it. It looks like watered down mayo with pepper. Pretty much. Now, Bottom Line Outdoors, I spent a long time since I've eaten that. But now you got my attention. I'm cooking quail this weekend for the first time. I have not had quail in 40 years. I remember my grandfather used to go quail hunting back when we had quail here in Georgia that was not pen raised. And he would go quail hunting, and they would come back. So you had doves, and you had quail. He would catch a turtle or two a year. We would eat that. These are things that I don't get to eat anymore. Now, turtle I'm not eating because I'm not interested in cleaning the damn thing. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. The 7 different types of meat in a turtle may be true. I don't know. But quail and turtle I haven't eaten in a long time. And dove, it's been a hot minute. But I liked them all. And dove season, opens up this Saturday? Maybe not this Saturday, but the following Saturday on the 6th. I think it opens in Georgia's dove season. You know, the only thing with doves and quail, when you take a bite in, you got to be real careful that you don't get one of them little, shots in it, little lead shot in there, whatever they have to use now. I'm not a huge bird hunter, but I've enjoyed it when I've gotten to go. Bottom Line Outdoors says, I love the taste of turtle. Let me ask you this. Is it a specific type of turtle, or can you just eat any turtle? I remember, now, so we called them loggerheads, and I know that probably ain't the right thing, just big old ass snapping turtle in Nasty Pond down behind my dad's house. I can't believe I ever even ate brim out of the thing. It was nothing but a mud hole. But every once in a while, we'd catch them on a trot line or while catfishing. Now, the little small ones we never ate, but if he ever caught a big loggerhead, he took that joker home and ate it. Now, again, it might not be the right, what is a true loggerhead, but that's what we call them. But I'm talking about snapping turtle. They say once it bites, it holds on to you until thunder. Remember that? That's the old wives' the old wives' tale about it. Jeremiah says, oh, no, I'm not eating no turtle. They stink the second they come out of the water. That's true. So do fish. Soft shell turtle when I was a kid. Fred Ashcraft. All right, here's our tip of the day. Best way I found to do quail. Breast them out. Marinate in Italian Olive Garden dressing. Cook off the heat on grill. Cook off heat. So cook it, I guess, to the side, not over the heat. Is that what you're saying? Sprinkle with food seasoning on them just before taking them off. Great. Now, a loggerhead is a sea turtle. Yeah, Jeremiah, but in the South, a lot of people call the snapping turtles loggerheads. They really do. How do you dispatch a live turtle to be cleaned anyway? Pop that head off. That's what I seen my grandfather do. He would get them things like if you stick a stick at it and they'll bite and they'll latch onto it, and then he would pull. And I remember this. I can vividly see this in my memories. He would pull that turtle's head out because they're not letting go. And all of a sudden he'd take a big old hatchet or something, and I mean, whack! And next thing you know, you got a turtle head. That's how I remember it. Roger says that white sauce sounds good. Want to try it? Do they sell it in a grocery store, or do you have to make it yourself? I'm pretty sure, Roger, you can find some version of it. I guarantee you Ingles probably has it. Soft shell turtle and loggerhead are okay. Now, we say this because now you say are a coon-ass filet mignon, and that's what Cajuns, that's what I had some Cajun buddies, and that's what they called themselves. Soft shell turtle and loggerhead. And we'll say Cajun filet mignon. There was an employee of mine that used to take the turtles from the golf course ponds to eat. I wouldn't eat nothing out of a golf course pond. Now, when I did heating in there, I've said this story before. A buddy of mine, Mason Waters, he now owns Waters Heating and Air. If you're in Ball Ground, Georgia, absolutely fantastic company. Call them for all your HVAC needs. But I was working for Niche Jones Heating and Air, and I had a box truck. I was doing retrofit, so we were going changing out people's furnaces and air conditioners. This was his first day on the job. I'd known Mason for a total of 35 minutes. We're going down Windward Parkway. Again, just met this guy. And all of a sudden, he screams, stop, top of his lungs. And so I lock this box truck down right in the middle of Windward Parkway. He jumps out the door. Now, he opens up the back of the box truck. And I'm like, what? I don't know what in the hell is going on here. Then I see him out of the passenger side mirror. I see him jump off in the woods. And he's about 4 feet, 5 feet off the road in some high grass. And he's got a hammer in his hand. And he is just beating the daylights out of something. And I'm like, this guy is just absolutely insane. I don't know what he's doing. Then I see him walking back to the truck. Again, looking at all of this in the side view mirror. Now, granted, guys, this is at 8:15 in the morning. Okay, 8:15 in the morning. We just left the shop. Haven't even made it out to the first stop yet. He has got one of the biggest turtles I have ever seen by the tail, and he chunks it into the back of the truck. Closes the gate, comes back around, jumps in the front seat. And I look at him, and I'm like, what the hell was that? He goes, oh, dude, man, that was a big old turtle. I'm going to take that thing home and eat it. Again, I just met this guy. So for the rest of the day, we go do our work. There is a dead 30-pound. I mean, it was as big around. If you put your arms like this, you know what I'm talking about, one of them big turtles. There's a dead turtle staring at me all day in the back of my work truck. Blood everywhere. We do the work. We come back. Next morning, go in. He takes the turtle home. Next morning, we go in. I go into my boss's office, and he goes, "How did the new guy do?" I said, "Dewey." That was the guy's name, Dewey Neese. Very nice guy, Dewey Neese. I said, "Dewey." I said, "This SOB's crazy." He goes, "What do you mean?" And I recounted the turtle incident. Now, we both had a good laugh on it. As time progressed, became great friends with Mason and all that. He wanted that turtle. I mean, I've never seen anybody want a turtle as bad as he wanted that turtle. And he did. But I mean, again, I just met the guy. I didn't have that on my bingo card for today. Even had to clean the blood out of the back of the daggum truck. What happened to the quail in Georgia? In Oklahoma and South Louisiana, the fire ants decimated their quail and turkey. If you see either, it's like seeing a ghost. I would want to say that between the coyotes, probably overhunting, loss of habitat, that's what happened to the quail in Georgia. I don't know about fire ants. I'm sure they killed a bunch too, because we get big ass fire ants, especially down in South Georgia. I don't know that. I do know you can go quail hunting in Georgia, but the quail are pen raised and they're released. What I have been told is that those that do not get killed, that do make it, and as they stay out, I think they can try to breed and all that, but because they have been pen raised for so long, quail in Georgia now have lost the ability to fly. They won't fly or fly far away from you. I could be 100% wrong on that, but I've heard more than one guy say that. No ice or nothing, just a big dead turtle in the back. Absolutely, Jeremiah. I mean, a big one. His head just beat all in. I mean, what he did, he was just beating that thing across the head. Raccoons and fungus or something has done a number on the quail and turkey, and lack of fire in the ecosystem. See, Tyler, that's the thing a lot of people don't talk about. Controlled burns and stuff as well. I know they burn Dawson Forest every so often just to help the environment for the smaller species. So you might be right. I just know that quail hunting, wild quail in Georgia, is pretty much non-existent. I'm sure there's a couple places here and there that there's some coveys of wild quail, but the vast majority are pen raised. Meat Eater did a podcast on the quail numbers dropping. Now, Doc Holliday says wild quail around my brother's farm in middle Georgia. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Doc. I know there's places for them, but to hear people talk about quail like they did back in the 70s and the 80s, early 80s and all that, doesn't happen the way it used to. So definitely something. And again, I haven't eaten a quail. And honestly, I'm going to tell you, I'm 53. I bet it's been 40 years since I ate a quail that was shot by my grandfather out actually hunting. And he used to do, like, if you know Johns Creek, Georgia, now it is all nothing but big old office industrial parks and buildings, and it's just concrete. Well, back in the 70s, it used to be these big fields, big old cow pastures and stuff. My grandfather would go dove hunt all of them. We'd sit on Sargent Road, and about once a month on a Sunday afternoon, you would hear the clack of horses' hooves coming on the asphalt. We would sit on the front porch. We would do this, and we loved it when it happened. And these guys would come by on horses, dressed like these British hunters, and they would have their dogs, their bird dogs and stuff, or whatever they were. And they would come in. They would just, honestly, they'd come right down. I guess it was a club. And they would do some stuff up in them fields. They'd let their dogs run, but they were all on horses trying to act like they were British or something. Now, we're talking 70s, late 70s, 80, 81, back in that time. You don't see that in Johns Creek, Georgia. Loss of habitat. Fred Ashcraft, I've seen 3 covey of quail in the last 2 years between private land and WMA in Millen. You can't hardly find a real good dove shoot anymore. And if you do, it costs an ass load to go. A paid dove hunt now costs an ass load. I know Tony Colum on here, I'm sure he's back at work now. He belongs into a club that does they did 1 or 2 dove hunts a year for one day in a club, $250 for one day. You can buy a shit ton of doves from a grocery store like Sprouts or something that sell them for $250. They say good for the herd, good for the bird. Tall grass allows the baby quail and turkey to hide from the predators. Sure, absolutely, 100%. I believe that. I believe that with all my heart. But you don't see it a lot. And I will tell you, like, go up here to Big Canoe. Go up here to Big Canoe because there's so many deer in Big Canoe and because they don't allow hunting in Big Canoe. But you can go in the gate and drive. There is no underbrush or undergrowth whatsoever. Them deer have just basically chewed it down to the leaves. They need to take some out. They let these sharpshooters go in and do it every so often. They won't let guys hunt it. That's a shame. I don't know what they do with the meat, but they hire somebody to come in and take care of it. But there is nowhere for a small game to hide on Big Canoe. Yeah, it's like $150, $200 for a one-day shoot. And to be honest with you guys, like, I wanted to meet Colton today, and I'll meet him Tuesday. We'll get it all figured out. I don't know how you guys shoot your guns. I don't know how you guys shoot. And some of you guys could be Dick Cheney for all I know. And next thing I know, I'm getting my ass peppered with birdshot. You stick so many people on a dove field, and it's all hell breaks loose. When one single dove comes flying, and you got 42 guys on a 2-acre field, no, not about that life. I don't want to get peppered. You got to know who you're hunting with. And that's why they have these big dove hunts. And if they don't spread you out, it's kind of sketchy. DP's Fishing Misadventures. Hello to all. Finally got a chance to get on. Got back from the weekend and water line leaking at the house. $2,200 to fix. I hate that for you, Danny. Absolutely. Hate that for you. Big Bait John, expertly. What are you talking about, John? You still coming up here to see me in a little while? But that, we've talked everything but fishing today. That's the way this show goes. Quail hunt, though, I ain't done it in forever. Dove hunt, I like to go to somebody that's got some private land. And to be honest, here's another thing about dove hunts. Okay? A lot of people really don't know exactly what the hell a dove is that I've experienced. And if it's a poor bird flying over, they're absolutely just peppering the sky. You get a little blue jay or robin, he's like, I think I'm going to go from this tree to that tree across the field. Don't even think about the doves and all that. Boom, 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 boom. It's like, damn. Far dog, our white-tailed deer population has quadrupled in far southeast Oklahoma or worse, to the point every pasture around me will have 50 plus in them. You need a friend. I might be that friend. I'll take care of it. But it is true. And listen, you got to deal with anti-hunters. And that's what Big Canoe is. Okay? Big Canoe, you got your sportsmen in Big Canoe, but they're not allowed, other than fishing on their lakes, they're not allowed to be sportsmen in Big Canoe because you got Granny Karen and all them over there that love seeing the deer. They have no idea. They don't care about that there's a carrying capacity per acre. There's only so much energy, and the deer will come in and they'll get overpopulated. And then you see deer, you'll see 50 deer, and they all weigh 75 pounds. Oh, but they're pretty. The damn thing's dying. It's sick. But you can't convince people of that. And I get it. And I wouldn't let them in there with guns. I wouldn't let people get in there with high-powered rifles and just start blasting. But there's plenty of good bow hunters that could take care of that for you for free. I know I would. Let's see. Fred Ashcraft. We know they're pen-raised birds, but we still go up to Ringgold to quail hunt every year for a family deal. And you know what? That would be fun. And I would enjoy that, Fred. Absolutely. And I think, it's still fun to quail hunt. Just they ain't wild like they used to be, right? Now, yeah, CWD, chronic wasting disease, will set in, especially if there's a bunch of corn feeders out there and one deer's got it and he's in there eating corn and his saliva gets on it and another deer eats it. That's how I've been told it spreads. I don't know. I'm not a biology. Trump's press secretary is like John Wayne toilet paper, LOL. She's a tough lady. She's a tough lady. She must be giving it to somebody. But, we've talked about a lot of things that I didn't expect to talk about today, which is always cool. But now you're making me miss a lot of things that I never got to do or don't get to do anymore. Grandpa hit me with a few pellets of a 410 bird shot as a teen. He shot an armadillo and wasn't paying attention to me in the background. There you go. I knew a cat in Loganville that ate robin. He said it was better than dove. Old dirty cracker. I ain't never had no robin. And my son, when he was learning to shoot, would want to shoot him off a power line, just any bird, and I wouldn't let him do it. I always told him, if you shoot something, you got to eat it. So you better know what you're shooting. But yeah, now I've never been hit with any bird shot, and I don't want to. But they could allow bow hunting in big canoe, and it would take care of the problem. There's plenty of good guys around here that would do it. But hey, again, you got to deal with Karen on that. So anyway, let's see. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Again, I'm sorry that I couldn't get Colton Posey on. I was really looking forward to the conversation, but we're going to try him again Tuesday. And so I'm going to do that again every Tuesday and Thursday. Now, here's another thing too, guys. If you want to be on, hit me up on Messenger at Facebook, or if you got my number, let me know, because I would love to allow people to see you and just kind of everybody get to know each other, so that when we see people's names in the comment section, you know them, or at least you know who they are. You get a feel for what they are, especially if you got a YouTube channel or something like that. We try to help promote everybody here. That rising tide and the boat thing, you know what I'm talking about? Got a state dove hunt 2 years ago. When I watched a guy shoot 2 wood ducks, I was out. State quota hunts are a clown show. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It is. You never know. And that's why I get drawed, and I quit doing it. But I used to get drawed every year for the Berry quota hunt up around Berry College, because Berry College has like tons and tons and tons of deer. Them damn things walk around during the football games in the parking lot. Every time I went up there to visit my daughter, you'd see 40 or 50 deer just on campus. And it's a big WMA that surrounds it. But they absolutely let a bunch of people get in there. And I'm like, nah, I don't trust them. Hey, I just went to a local pawn shop and bought an original cotton Cordell redfin in the original package. I paid $2. No lie, unbelievable. Now, and I see a big bait John on there. Now, here's a question. How did the pawn shop get a original cotton Cordell redfin? Did they find it at like an auction or an estate and they bought it and brought it in? Or did somebody down on their luck, and it does happen, bring in things and just happen to have a original cotton Cordell redfin in the original package, and they were trying to pawn it? I've got questions about that. But you can find some cool things. I'm surprised that the pawn shop, knowing the way pawn shops are, didn't look that thing up on the internet and charge you a lot more. Crackheads, Danny. What's up, Messick? Yeah, but I mean, occasionally we'll get a fella bring some baits in here, and and they're generally sweeter, older guys. They really are. And I've bought some stuff in here knowing that I'd never sell it. People down on their luck a little bit, just trying to help them out. But they'll bring in a tub or something that's got a bunch of old baits. And I go, I looked these up on the internet. I got some really expensive baits in here. Well, let me see what you got. When I look at them, number one, the hooks are rusted. Bad. You can tell these things ain't been washed or cleaned in 52 years. Like a bone color will have rust stains all over it. You can't even at all even tie line to that daggum line tie, because it's rusted and got barbs of rust on it and everything. And the whole entire thing is nothing but a trash heap. Now, if it was in pristine condition, let's say they got $500 worth of antique baits, but in the condition they're in, they're absolutely not worth a penny. And I'll look at them, I'll say, what do you want for them? Well, I think about $250 would be fair. And I always throw Josh, my partner, under the bus. I do this. I say, well, listen, Josh ain't here. I have to go through everything with him, kind of, leave him here. I'll let him look at it. And then they'll come back. I never show them to Josh because I know they're trash. I shouldn't be false about this. I just don't want to hurt their feelings at the time. Sometimes I'll tell them, no, we don't do that. But there have been times they come back and they're like, yeah, what do you say? And I'm like, no, we're not going to be able to do anything with them. But here's $40 out of the till. Just, you're down and you're like, here's some money. Keep your baits. Maybe you can get more for them at another place. But it happens a lot. Has the Atlanta track of Dawson Forest been sold? Not to my knowledge. It has not yet. Colton Posey, Again, the guest I was supposed to have on but messed up. One of the best attitudes we can have right now in this industry is you can't compete with me because I want everyone to succeed. That is true. That is true. 100%. I agree with you. That's the best thing. If you listen, if you want the other guy to succeed, okay, listen, there's never going to be any drama between you two, and they can't be mad at you because you want them to succeed as well. You just succeed a little more, but you want them to succeed. Used to be a tackle store 30 years ago. New owners turned it into a pawn shop, so old stock is still here and there. Okay, I got you. That makes sense because they just can't see a guy bringing in a fishing bait and say, hey, what would you get for that? Could you imagine that on that Pawn Stars? They bring in all the crazy stuff out in Vegas or whatever. Them guys, I'll watch it from time to time. I ain't watched it in a long, long time. Them guys lost a lot of weight too. I saw it on TikTok or something like that. They'd lost weight. But they walk in there and say, hey, I got this original cotton Cordell. What do you want for it? Well, $52,000. And then they bring the expert in and he goes, well, based upon the condition, it is an original, but I think $1.50 would be fine. And then they look at the guy and they're like, I'll give you 75 cents for it. And they're like, I think I'll hold on to it when I can get a little bit more. That's how that works. Adrian DeMarce, that's what I'm going to go with. Y'all should do a one-on-one bracket challenge for each soft bait category. Today's jig trailer matchup is the Ned Bait Pack-A-Crawl versus Reaction Innovation Sweet Beaver. The winner will face the SK Rage Crawl next episode. You're giving me an idea. I'll have to write it down, and we'll do that. But how many do you start off with? Do you go like the 64, 32, 16? What do you start off with? How many would make sense? I think you need to go smaller. So you start at 16 or you start with 8 and see, because then you could take that forever. I wished Hedden would bring back the River Runt. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. 20 years ago, I went to the same pawn shop and bought 13 original wiggle warts in the original package for $4 a piece. 13 years ago, and they're still bringing out. Was that back when it was a tackle shop? Because that would make sense. It ain't been a pawn shop that long, has it? After Tuesday with the fish tank, I have packs of Rage Crawl trailers I'd sell you. I was very disappointed in the Rage Crawl. Very disappointed in the Rage Crawl. 100%. I was very disappointed in several of them because, again, we talked yesterday. You think jigs, you think them things should be standing up in a defensive position. And they didn't. Tyler says he's taking the Sweet Beaver for sure. Solid choice. Can't go wrong with Beaver. Old tackle shop by West Point shut down under new ownership, and I got discontinued Rapala, or Rapala, as you Yankees like to call it, baits in original packaging, about $10 a piece. Messick says, I'll take them Rage Crawls right off your hands. Well, I'm just telling you, Messick, they just didn't impress, but you can have all of them. Now, I've never been lucky enough to go to a sale or a yard sale or anything like that and find a whopper deal on things like that. I just don't get that lucky. I don't win at the lotto, and I don't find good deals at yard sales. I don't know. Some of you guys are lucky. The internet changed a lot of that because now anybody that has anything like an old reel or something, I promise you they know what the value of that thing is on the current market. You got to fall into the right situation to be able to get something, that is truly, truly a bargain. Rage Crawls are the truth, but they don't move much at rest. No, they don't. And I'm not saying they're bad. I expected different action of them just sitting in the water. But I've never been that lucky. I really honestly have never been that lucky. I've had a couple of customers come in here and give me I got a red fin sitting up on the wall back there as a decoration. Every once in a while we'll get a guy come in there. I've got a couple of fly rods, bamboo fly rods that people gave me, or I bought them for like $20 that I'm going to turn into. Hell, I could fish with them, but I don't fly fish much. But I'm going to turn them into decorations and stuff. Rage Crawl was designed for movement, not to stand up, Danny. That's why they have always pushed the movement of them. Maybe you might be 100% right, and maybe I wasn't looking at it right. But I thought, damn, it shouldn't lay flat. But I guess I was expecting something different. I am a Yamamoto twin tail guy. I am going to try the TFC products. I'm definitely going to try Tactical Fishing's products because Ken the other night, if you don't know Ken Pruitt, Ken is a very particular individual. Very, very particular individual. And if he says something is good, trust me, it's pretty good because he is one that will pick something to death. He makes his own baits. He does a lot of tinkering and pouring in his garage and all that. And for Ken to say, that's a good bait, I take him at his word. I believe in him for what he says. He loved the tactical fishing stuff. What's the point of a beaver style bait? I've never figured that out either. I don't know. Just a punch is about all it's worth, I guess. Some crawls for falling action only, and they called it good. Just called it good enough. I guess so. Dead rabbit. I guess so. But the beaver style baits, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I really don't know what they're supposed to mimic. I don't punch. There's not a lot of grass. I don't throw them. I know some of the guys on the podcast will put them on a wobble head, chunk them out, let it go to the bottom, and just reel. And so you got that beaver style bait on that wobble head, just kind of doing this. But I really don't know how to answer that question. Tyler says, I use beavers in the winter for a no action presentation, slow fishing, and dragging them on jigs. Well, Tyler, I'm going to have to pick your brain when you get up here later on this afternoon. Danny, do you ever use any silent lipless crankbaits on Lanier? Not on Lanier, I have not. I did throw a couple on Lake Allatoona in the spring in orange color. I don't throw lipless crankbaits near enough. I'm not one to throw them down deep and yo-yo them like a lot of guys do. I have other things I got more confidence in. But I did throw one during a tournament this year and actually caught a few bass up shallow, and it was silent. I do know guys like Drew Cook have talked about not necessarily silent, but throwing your regular lipless things. And I'm thinking like, now when you say lipless, I'm talking about rattle traps. Is that what you're talking about? Okay, because I've never used a silent one. So I don't know if the one I used was silent or not. I know it was orange as hell. That freaking floating worm blew my mind. Why would anyone want another worm for a shaky head? I'd never heard of it. Danny Joe's, it's on Tackle Warehouse. I'd never heard of it. Ken come in and he had a worm, and I don't even know what brand. Hell, it's still sitting in the tank down there on the bottom because this is marketed as a floating worm. And he threw it down there and that thing sunk. Now, it sunk slow, but it sunk. He threw that Danny, this is before the show. He threw that other one on there, and I said, it floated. I said, how in the hell are we going to show anybody that? Because the camera is on the water. He said, we'll figure it out. And sure enough, I was actually very, very impressed. Casey Weaver lost connection for a bit, missed about 20 minutes. She probably didn't miss nothing. We were probably talking about barbecue sauce. Tyler says a double tail performs better than the beaver. That's the way I think. Every time I get a new bait, Fred Ashcraft says the wife knows it's going straight to the pool to get tested. A lot of people do that. You'd be surprised. A lot of guys, I hate to say this, I know a guy that got a pool. His wife wanted a pool. He didn't want to spend the money on a pool, but he fished a lot. He got the pool with the double use in mind, for his wife to get off his back and for him to have a place to test his baits. Colton says on that lipless silent one, burn and pause them on suspended spots. Okay, that's what I was going to say. Like, do the Guggen baits since everyone hates them. I've got a couple Guggens. We can try that. Drew Cook talked about coming up to Lanier and fishing brush piles for suspended spots or even spots that are really active coming up with a lipless crankbait. He is the only guy in the history of this show that I've ever heard talk about a lipless crankbait on Lake Lanier out in open water. I've heard guys throwing them around shallow, especially in the spring when the bass are up, getting close to pre-spawn, spawn conditions. I've heard him talk about that. But Drew Cook specifically said, no, man, take that out over a 40-foot brush pile. He goes, they see everything else. They see your Kitex. They see your Minnows. They see all your topwater. How few lipless crankbaits do they see burned across? Now, I don't think his was silent. But Drew Cook, and I mean, how Drew Cook makes a very nice living fishing on the Bassmaster Elites in the NPFL. So when Drew Cook says something, I'm like, there might be something to it. And again, he's a shallow water. His strengths, really, like he's probably one of the best sight fishermen out there. Him and Cox, I mean, there's a few. And if you watch during the spawning, Drew Cook spent like 2 hours working a fish. Very patient man. Very good shallow water angler. Down from South Georgia. He's from Cairo. He's used to that shallow water. But it was interesting to hear him talk about Lake Lanier lipless crankbait over brush piles. That's kind of like what happened last year too. Everybody knows about the spot sticker mini me that you burn certain times of the year. Well, guys were taking that last year, and instead of throwing your typical things over brush that the fish have seen, they were throwing and burning spinner baits, specifically that mini me style spinner bait. They were burning it over brush piles. The bass had not seen that in quite a long time. They were just absolutely annihilating fish. This weekend, I'm throwing a tube at suspended fish, trying it out to see if it works. I'm not much of a tube guy. Colton, Colin Steele. He's from up north. He came down there. First time he walked in the shop, he goes, "You got any tubes?" I'm like, "Why?" Loves throwing the tubes. Not all year, but he throws tubes certain times, and he has great success with it. I've never used a lipless crank. I bought one for my son recently because he wanted one, but they scare me due to them being on the bottom and the trebles. Well, I will say this about a lipless, and I think guys will understand this. With the line tie on a lipless, your nose really is down, and so your hooks are really behind the bait the way it's coming through the water. So you take Jonathan Farmer and guys like that, and they will chunk that they'll chunk it in the blowdowns, as O'Neill calls it. And they'll drag it through some of the gnarliest stuff. And guys out at Gunnersville will bring it through the grass. So again, yes, you can get it hung. It's not something you never get hung. But that's kind of why, because the way it comes through the water. And I know that's not a great picture. Drew would have won on Hartwell with that bedfish. I seen her with my own eyes after the Sunday weigh-in. Yeah, I wanted him to nail that thing. Jeremiah, lipless crank has been my favorite hard bait category since I learned how to fish as a 2-year-old. Colton says, I've been wearing out fish on Gunnersville and another river system close to home on the old OG Strike King Series 3. There you go. Old Dirty Cracker said, caught a 5-pound spot on a Guggen Grande clutch lipless crankbait at West Bank 2 years ago. Hooked him right in the eyeball. That's a bad day for that. Just got stopped to type. I had to stop to type. Danny, try vinegar or acid toilet cleaner for the tank. If it's mineral deposits, that acid should take it off. I'm going to try to clean it up for sure. Thank you for the advice. Drew Cook broke down his thoughts on the colors on Mercer podcast a while back. He's good, man. I'm telling you. I've caught fish in 30-foot. I've caught a few in 30 feet casting across rocky points on there. Red-eye shad and blue chrome rat are my favorites. Now you guys are commenting. I'll have to try them. Clark's Hill on fire with the lipless right now. Chrome and black red-eye shad. They're knocking the paint off of it. Colton says, to the guy talking about guiding earlier, if you're not sure about it, look into on-the-water lessons teaching people how to use your favorite techniques for new anglers. 100%. All right, guys, with that, gone an hour and a half. First of all, Colton, I'm sorry we couldn't figure it out. Go ahead and, if you can, plan on Tuesday. You guys come back tonight at 8 o'clock. We're going to sit down and we'll have Emil Wagner on. Going to be a great conversation. If you're in the area, Tyler Shellnut, all you guys, come see me. Tim probably get here about 5 o'clock. We'll be here working in the shop. I got to tie some jigs and paint some heads and stuff, but we'll be working. But come on in here and hang out. If not, come back tonight at 8. And if not, we will do the free-for-all, which hell basically was today. But we'll do a free-for-all lunch tomorrow going into the Labor Day weekend. I appreciate you guys. Also, too, if you want to be one of the guests after I finally get Colton on, if you want to be one of the guests, you got me booked, bud, but let's get this figured out. Oh, yeah, we're going to figure it out. I don't know what's wrong with the system today, but we will figure it out. But if you want to be a guest, too, reach out to me. Let me know. I want to get you guys out there in front of everybody. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy it. We'll see you tonight. And if I don't see you the rest of this week, be safe out there on the water if you get out there on the water, okay? We appreciate you, and I'll talk to you guys later.